The new Netflix comedy tells the story of a cast and crew of a blockbuster action franchise as they attempt to shoot a sequel while quarantined at a posh hotel. I watched Judd Apatow's new film, The Bubble. Should you? Let's find out. How's it going, movie watchers? Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to talk about the new Netflix comedy, The Bubble, which is directed by Judd Apatow. Has a really big cast with Leslie Mann, Iris Apatow, Karen Gillan, Pedro Pascal, Keegan-Michael Key, and so many celebrity cameos that really did surprise me. I'm a huge fan of Judd Apatow's directed films, from The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, Funny People. Those are films that I just absolutely adore. His film that came out in 2020, I believe, The King of Staten Island with Pete Davidson, was a pretty good film. I would say Trainwreck is my least favorite of his, but I was actually looking forward to this film and seeing how they would take COVID and quarantine and all of that, everything that we all went through in 2020, and bring it to a comedy form. They really just go all in with what happened in 2020 with COVID and how everybody had to quarantine. They play up on that a lot, and there's a lot of jokes surrounding that. Having to stay 6 feet apart, having to be tested, having to quarantine in a room for 2 weeks, and then having to shut down production several times with this film that they are making, this film called Cliff Beasts, and it's the 6th one in the franchise. And so everything that a lot of people went through is in this movie. So it may trigger some painful memories of having to quarantine. I thought a lot about when I had to quarantine and everything that had happened. It brought back those memories. Not the best memories ever, but they were there. They exhaust a lot of those jokes pretty early on, unfortunately. It becomes a little bit stale. Once the jokes are being repeated, the novelty behind it all of the jokes just hit really hard in the beginning, but as the movie progresses, it's less and less funny and more about how these stars are being mistreated on set and they don't want to film this movie anymore. They are just at their wits' end with everything, and as the movie is progressing, we get less, I guess, jokes and more of how they are dealing with the day-to-day of filming this movie, while also dealing with trying to stay 6 feet apart and just trying to be safe. There's a lot of jokes in the beginning that do work, and it's coming from a place that's just not absolutely making fun of like COVID and quarantine, because a lot of people died, so it's not like the best thing to make fun of, but it's trying to make light of like certain situations, people who had to quarantine and what they really went through. But we have a very strong cast, like I said, Karen Gillan. We also have Keegan-Michael Key and Iris Apatow, Judd Apatow's and Leslie Mann's daughter. She's in this film. I think everybody does a really great job. They have pretty good chemistry, and they often like to film TikTok videos together, and we see how each one is like snapping in their own way. And I think a lot of them handle the sane moments very well, but when they are stuck in a room for 2 weeks, they're going absolutely crazy. And those people involved in the movie are there to deliver those really over-the-top performances. The one thing I love about Judd Apatow films is that they all feel deeply personal, and there's a lot of extended conversations, just really personal moments for the characters within his films. I ultimately think of films like Funny People, when they have like long conversations. That's not in here. And so I was a little bit taken back when watching this film, that it feels more of like a generic comedy rather than some of those films that he has directed, and they are more like a deeper film for the characters. I just didn't get that within this film. The scenes feel brief, the interactions feel brief. There's not much room to kind of like dive into these characters, what they are feeling, having like emotional conversations. It's probably because of the subject and the situation they are in. It's just kind of a different film from like Knocked Up or Funny People or even This Is 40, where those films have like long Conversations. Those are long films. One thing that Judd Apatow is known for is directing some longer comedies, and this is just a little bit over 2 hours, and there's a lot of them filming the movie, a lot of them trying to escape this hotel, a lot of them having to quarantine. So there's a lot going on in here, and it doesn't really allow to have those like deeper moments. So if you looked at it, if it wasn't directed by Judd Apatow, it would just be kind of like your average comedy. But when you expect a film from Judd Apatow, you get a film that is just a little bit longer and a little bit more personal, and that just isn't this film. Like I said, it's just probably the story for it. But when I was done watching, I think, you know, he's directed better films and more personal films as well. I also kind of liked the behind the scenes filming the movie. You get to see scenes of this movie, and then it goes to like the green screen trying to film this movie. So it's fun to also see kind of behind the scenes look at it using like the CGI, the green screen, everything. It's pretty cool. And I also would love to just see this movie because it's very ridiculous. It's stupid. It's over the top. And I would love to see a full feature film based around Cliff Beast. This movie really does end up spiraling out of control. There's a lot of just crazy things that happen in here. I enjoyed the film. When I look at Judd Apatow films, it's not the best one he has directed. It feels like a comedy that could have been directed really by anybody. There is a lot of funny moments in the beginning of the film. I think a lot of the jokes are repetitive as they start to kind of talk about COVID and having to quarantine in your room for 2 weeks and shutting down production. A lot of those jokes just feel the same, and they just don't hit as well as the first time I heard them. So the film's a little bit repetitive, but I do overall like the film. We're now at a time where we can have movies based around COVID. It's just absolutely insane. But this one just kind of touches upon the movie industry and productions on big blockbuster films and what people expected from them, and all of the actors and actresses involved and what they went through. Everybody just wanted to go back to the movie, and this was gonna be like the film that was gonna save it all, kind of like a Tenet a little bit. But The Bubble was an enjoyable film. There's a lot of great comedic moments. The cast is really great. They all interact very well together, especially when they're all doing TikTok videos, because Iris Apatow's character is a popular TikTok star. So she doesn't know what she's exactly doing, but everybody just enjoys being in TikTok videos with her. So The Bubble, I do recommend it if you enjoy Judd Apatow films. It's not the deepest film that he has directed. It's not the funniest one as well, but just an enjoyable film. So before I give you my score for The Bubble, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. I'm going to go ahead and give The Bubble a B-. Thank you guys for checking my review for The Bubble, the new film on Netflix. Have you guys seen it by chance? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.